Well, Coach, what stood out to you with Texas Tech that caught your attention that said, hey, I would like to go out to Lubbock, Texas and become their head football coach and try to build it up and try to get it going and win a championship there? Did any other schools, like with your Miami background, maybe at Miami or a Pac-10 school or a Big Ten school, did anything like that stand out to you also, wanting to get back into college football?
Yeah, I had several people call and ask for my interest, and number one, I wasn't going north. I like the southern type football, and just there wasn't a lot that attracted me in terms of getting back in it. I knew I was going to get back in it. It just I wanted to go in the right situation. But I was very intrigued with Texas Tech. Again, it's a team in the Big 12 that's had some success, but it's not played a lot of defense. And of course, that's why I'm a defensive head coach, and I thought, I'm looking at the situation of going in and bringing my philosophy with some defensive guys that understand what I like to do, and be able to bring the level of play here at Texas Tech to another level and try to keep the offense pretty much similar to what we're doing with, as I said earlier, a little change in the running game. But, football's football. These people love it out here. Again, we just had our Big 12 meetings in Phoenix last week. It was fun to be around Stoops and Mike Brown and Bo Pelini and the guys that are in the Big 12 that I've been friends with, but I've not really coached against them that often. But I've kind of grown up with them in this sport, so it's kind of renewed my interest, so to speak. While I was at Auburn, man, we worked hard and we brought that program from one level to about as far as you could bring it, and had a lot of success. And as coaches, you look for challenges, and this is going to be a challenge to get it where I want to get it to. We're going to have to take our time and try to do it the right way, and try to do like we did at Auburn. Try to take one step at a time and build it, with the right type of players. So it's going to be fun. But again, it's football. It's in a very good league, and it's going to be a different league. I'll learn a lot more football, a different type of football that I've learned the last 15 years, because it's just a different area with different types of players.
Well,
Coach, I know in 2004 you had an undefeated Auburn team that was very dynamic, and we had Coach Kiffin on a couple of days ago, who was assisted on the USC program at the time. And as we look at the Big Ten possibly looking to expand, I was wondering what your thoughts were on possibly having super conferences and having a major shift in college football. And also, how do you feel your Auburn team, and I know you think highly of them, how do you feel they would have stacked up against an 04 USC team had they had the opportunity to play for a championship?
Well, I think we could have competed with them very well. We played them the 2 years previous to that, and there was some definite differences, but they lost a lot of people on that 2003 team that they had, and we had everybody coming back. The one area that Oklahoma could not stand up with them was defensive back. They had big receivers, and they had very small defensive backs. We had Carlos Rogers playing defensive back. We had David Irons, a big defensive back, both very physical. They could run. We'd have matched up very well with them. With Ronnie Brown and Carnell Williams in the background, I think it'd have been a great game. It was unfortunate that we didn't get to play in that game. I think that's probably been one of the biggest shortcomings in college football in the last 15, 20 years. But that's water under the bridge, and I think we proved to people all across the country we had a good football team. And again, that's what we all try to do. We try to do the best we can, and unfortunately, we got voted out in that game.
Well, does it kind of upset you a little bit about, with all the Reggie Bush USC sanctions that are about to come out this week? They may even have to forfeit that 2004 national championship, and that you guys didn't even get to play for it. I just don't think that's fair for your 2004 Auburn team. Does that add sting to the fire, or how does that work out for you?
Well, not really. I try not to reflect on it too much. It's going to be interesting to see what happens if they do take it away from them. It seems like the NCAA now is not really punishing anybody. They're punishing people 3 or 4 years, and then just taking away games or championships. And I don't see them doing a whole lot to USC, unfortunately. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. Who they'll make national champion that year. But it'd be nice to have some kind of recognition for that team, just for Auburn and for college championship teams at Miami. That team we had that year was as good as any team I've ever been around.
What was the deal in 94 at A&M? You guys went 10-0-1. You guys didn't go to a bowl game. Was there probation there?
Yeah, what happened is right before I got there, they'd had 3 or 4 kids the summer before had worked at some kind of factory or something. They got paid like $2 or $3 more than some of the other people there. They did their work. They just got paid a different amount of money hourly than what the other workers did, and they put them a year on probation, no bowl game. I mean, that for what some people have done and not really done anything to them, it's pretty embarrassing to go back and look at that situation of what they really hammered A&M for that year. And again, we had a very good football team. Only that was the year before they started the overtime deal, and we ended up tying SMU. But we won a lot of games that year, but wasn't real good on offense. We had a good defensive team that year, but pretty interesting that they'd taken the bowl game away from a team that just had a couple of players make mistakes instead of just suspending them.
Well, I guess you can get SMU back since you opened with them on September 5th.
Yeah, June Jones is coming to town, and he's done a good job there. They're running that run and shoot, and we'll have our hands full with this new defense. And the game will be on Sunday. It'll be the only game played on Sunday, the first weekend on ESPN that day. No pro games, so good opportunity for our team to kind of step out and kind of say, hey, this is what we've got. And, it might be a good start, might not, but I'm looking forward to it.
I guess one last question. You mentioned the pro game. Did the NFL ever enter your mind when you took the year off?
I've had a lot of friends go to the NFL, and every one of them has told me don't even think about it. It's about owners and players. Coaches are kind of like pawns. You don't get to select your players. That's what I like about college football. You get a chance to build your team. You get a chance with your staff to go out and evaluate players, determine whether they can play for you in your scheme, bring them in, put them on weights, grow them in your system, have them for 3, 4, 5 years, and then they move on. And pro ball, it's not that. It's just who's got the best players, basically, and but who's got the most money, what owner wants to spend the most money. And I've just never been interested in that. And I like watching it, but it's just every week, everybody runs the same offense, they run the same defense. And again, it all goes back to who's got the most money and who's got the best players.
We got time for one more dance.
We have a minute left, Nick.
Coach, I was just wondering what your thoughts were on super conferences real quick, and then we want to minute with you off the record at the end of the interview.
I think that's what it's headed to. If you just look at television, ESPN pretty much controls what we do now. They have probably 80% of the games during the week, and now they have their control of BCS. I think that the money that they make and that they can throw around to the conferences, I think you're going to see a lot of teams finally say, let's have 4 conferences of 10, 12 teams each. That's what you have. In my 30 years of coaching, I've seen teams being added into 1A, coming from 1AA, and then at the end of about 4, 5, 6 years, they kind of come up with these stipulations where you got to have 40,000 in your stands each week and all that, and they kind of divide them out again. I think you're going to see that, and I think you'll see some type of probably playoff system out of it, coming out of the championship games and probably having a +1 out of that.
Well, Coach, thank you for coming on today and talking a little Texas Tech football with us. It was a pleasure talking to you.
All right, guys, thank you.
Yeah, like I say, Coach, we want to minute we off the record. Thanks for being with us.